What if you could have supernatural power? Do you know that Jesus promised that? Jesus said, "Be filled with power." Good morning and welcome to 755 Live. For about 5 minutes, you'll hear all about easy to remember soundbite versions of what Jesus said. And the point is to help you experience life to the fullest, the Jesus way. Today's Jesus said comes from Luke 24:49, and we're going to read a couple of translations here. First, the New Living Translation. "And now I will send the Holy Spirit, just as my Father promised. But stay here in the city until the Holy Spirit comes and fills you with power from heaven." Reading the New English Translation, it says, "And look, I am sending you what my Father promised, but stay in the city until you have been clothed with power from on high." Now, the first translation said, "until you are filled." This translation says clothed, and we will look at that word for filled and clothed here in a minute. But first, what a promise this is. This is part of some of the last instructions Jesus gave while still here on earth. And he's telling the disciples that even those who were struggling with disbelief, those that hadn't quite figured out exactly what all had happened in the past few weeks, he was telling them that they would become world changers. But what changed? Well, they were filled with power. That word "filled" in the original means like our English word "endued." It's not a word that we use a lot, but it literally means like to sink into clothing, to put on like it soaks into you, to clothe oneself, to put on like a garment. And Jesus had promised, and that's exactly what happened. These disciples who were doubtful, who made mistakes, who had actually abandoned Jesus, suddenly things changed when they were filled with power. A great example of that is in Acts 10, the story of Peter going to the house of Cornelius. And as this Gentile family turned to Jesus, Peter explained who Jesus was. And I want you to catch something here. In Acts 10:38, Peter is talking about Jesus, and he says, "With respect to Jesus from Nazareth, that God anointed him with the Holy Spirit and with power. He went around doing good and healing all who were oppressed by the devil, because God was with him." God anointed Jesus with the Holy Spirit. We don't often hear about Jesus being filled, anointed, but he was filled with the Holy Spirit. And that's how he accomplished the things that he accomplished. Jesus started his public ministry by quoting from Isaiah. Luke 4:18, we're told this story. "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim the release to the captives and the regaining of sight to the blind, to set free those who are oppressed, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor." Jesus was filled with the power of the Holy Spirit to accomplish these things. The Spirit of the Lord was upon him. He was anointed to proclaim good news to the poor and to help those and to rescue those who were trapped. That's what the power of the Holy Spirit is for. If we are to do what Jesus said we should and could do, we must be filled with the power that he promised. That's the power to do what Jesus said we should and could do. We should be so filled with that power that we are running over, literally, into the lives of others. And this power of the Holy Spirit, it's not just in miracles, it's not just power over our enemies. We're told that the Holy Spirit is our guide to real truth. John 16 tells us that. Well, how can you tell? Well, Jesus also said that truth would glorify Jesus. We can tell what the truth is because it glorifies Jesus. We have the power to make disciples. Mark 16 tells us that we have that power to go and make disciples. And the signs that accompany those who believe They will drive out devils. They will speak in new languages. They will be able to tread on their enemies. Pick up snakes is an idiom that means to have power over your enemies. And whatever they drink will not harm them. They will place their hands on the sick and they will be well. Filled with that kind of power. That's what Jesus promised. And here is our job description. Acts 1:8. With this power, Jesus said, but you will receive power when the Holy Spirit has come upon you, and you will be my witnesses in Jerusalem and in all Judea and Samaria and to the farthest parts of the earth. We are endued with power. It's like clothing that we wear. It's like our work clothes. And that power is to go make disciples and multiply the kingdom. Jesus said, be filled with power. How can you put that into action today? Thank you so much for listening. If this is meaningful to you, it really means a lot to me if you like it, if you share it, if you comment, just like Amber and Sarah have checked in this morning. Good to see you guys. I really appreciate all of the support. I hope that you have an amazing day, and I hope this time together has helped you live life to the fullest, the Jesus way. And remember, follow Jesus today. Love first.